when we take a step back and we look at the situation for what it was, you got Von, you got Durk, you got Quando, and you got Lil Tim. These are the 4 parties involved. However, we tend to forget that NBA YoungBoy was kind of the predecessor. Like, it all started there and it trickled down. So in a way, it's like you got the bosses. So you got like YB and you got Durk, and they had, issues, okay, over a female. And that just trickled down to Von not liking YB and not liking anybody that rock with YB, which was Quando was signed to YB. That was his like right hand man. Von and Quando had words, and you saw the showdown in Atlanta. So I think that when Von punched on Quando, he started pretty much just like a domino effect. I think that I don't agree with Lil Tim's actions because it was a fist fight and it shouldn't have escalated there. But if I'm being quite honest, Von is a killer. So how do you deal with that? In all fairness, they probably were very fearful. You see Von coming and you the target, man. Bro, it's like you trying to eliminate the target. You trying to eliminate that target, and maybe there's not another way maybe there wasn't another way in Lil Tim's mind as to how to, intervene in that situation. Now, there is something to be said about Von's crew having guns too. They were strapped too, and maybe Lil Tim just, and it's like the actions of Von and the actions of Lil Tim had, Lil Tim, let's not forget, has put Quando in quite a peculiar situation because he put a target not only on his back, but on Quando's back and Lil Pab. So if we're going to look at Lil Pob's death that resulted from this beef and the murder for hire and everything that trickled down, if you're going to blame Durk for Lil Pob's beef, I think the guilt should be distributed evenly. That's on Durk, that's on Von, that's on Lil Tim, because nobody asked you to escalate the situation to that extent. And I think that you can't just look at Durk alone to say that he's the cause of all this. Now, I think that Durk found, and I'm not making excuses for Durk because I don't agree with his actions. Let me just be clear there. But I think Durk felt a sense of pressure from the hood, pressure from us common folk to slide for Von. Now, I don't have anything to do with that. I wasn't commenting slide for Von. I thought it was a very sad situation, and I thought that Von went rogue, and Von, unfortunately, the consequence was him getting the boot, and it is what it is. And I think that if Durk really felt like he was the voice of the street, and Durk really wanted to, carry that title on his back, and he got people that he's taking care of, families he's taking care of, he's a leader of his crew, of his community, I think he should have made a wise choice and said, hey man, Von went rogue. What do you do when a soldier goes rogue? Do you just put your head on the blade then? That's how I know. All the people talking about slide for Von and all that. Y'all are so reckless, bruh. Like, bruh, you cannot listen to bruh. People online are like really retarded. I'm sorry, but a lot of y'all are like really, really retarded, bruh. And I know that none of y'all never. When I see certain comments, I'm like, oh, you never was in the streets. You're trying to talk like you're street and this is what you would have done, this, that, and the third, but you've never really been through nothing. You got to think, man. try to put yourself in these shoes that you'll never be in these shoes because you soft. But let's just try to envision you putting yourself in the shoes of, you're the leader of your gang, right? You're the breadwinner. You're the voice of the gang, voice of the streets, and your best friend goes to a club, sees an op, and just starts popping on him. He don't tell nobody. It's not organized. It wasn't, bruh just popped on him. Not understanding who's around him, what's going on. That's just reckless behavior, bruh. How do you reprimand that reckless behavior with get back and put your life on it? Now look where Durk at. Y'all said slide for Von, he did it. But what's crazy about this whole situation is that the intended target wasn't even hit. So look at the totality of the situation. He tried to make a G call and he not a G. Durk like that, but he not like that as a leader, bro. You can't, at that point, if I was just second in command of Durk, I would realize he can't lead. Any OG with some wisdom, and Durk a little older, would have said, Durk, that's not the right call, bro. You're not making the right move, bro. You gotta chalk that up. You gotta chalk that up. You already at the point where you are too famous, too rich, got too much going on to even entertain this thing that your homie went rogue. So I'm sorry what happened to Von. This is a crazy situation, but that's what it got handled, and that's how it got handled. So unless they antagonizing us, we not finna make no moves because nobody asked Von to go rogue. So, that's just my perspective, and I think and that's why I look at Durk as, whatever happens is gonna happen. Now, I've already shared my opinion on the trial. I don't think Durk is gonna face significant time, and I think that's solely because he has two of the finest lawyers in the town, bro. Like Drew Finland and Brian Steele teaming together. They gonna be able to work something out. Even if it get late in the trial and there's a plea deal to be had on the table where, he might get the sweetheart deal like Thug, bro. 80 years probation and 80 years probation. If he violate that, he going for 112, bro. It's gonna be something crazy. Yes, the evidence is overwhelming, but in the court of law, bro. In the court of law, it's not common sense. Y'all seen too many cases where people get off where you look just like I was just having a conversation about one of my buddies. Bruh, he literally said, we're talking about YNW Melly. And I was like, bruh, he killed his best friends. Like, he should be locked up. Like, and I'm a big fan of YNW Melly. I like his music, but keep that man in there. Something's wrong. He was like, they ain't proved that. What? Just because he had a hung jury? You see how it's not common? Common sense ain't common. So when you look at the court of law, because I watched the whole trial, and granted, maybe he didn't, because people just be talking, bro. They don't do no research, don't know shit. They just want to have an opinion. I actually look into this. I actually followed that trial from day one onward, everything, right? During that trial, it was 100% from the blood splatter report, from the trajectory of the bullets. They showed the bullets coming in, bullets going out this way when he shot here. It was all there, bro. The only reason he even got off was because of one juror that was not gonna budge, and that's even suspicious because who was this person that was not coming off it? That was just, they said that from day one that the juror was hesitant. So good on the defense for choosing that juror, because maybe they saw something in that juror that's like, no matter what comes out, they're not prosecuting this young man. So, they're not going to say they did. So, but yeah, man. So when you're looking at the court of law, bro, that's just what it's going to be. And the evidence is overwhelming. There's text messages that he's literally orchestrating this whole thing. Did he do it? Yeah, he did. He felt that pressure. He buckled under that pressure, and he took on And think about it. The intended targets are not even, that's the thing. Honestly, it's not honorable. This is not the right word to use. So please, I'm not saying it's honorable to take someone's life, but if Quando got the boot, Lil Tim got the boot, I'll be like, damn. Bruh, hey, bruh did his big one, bruh. So even Steven type, you know what I'm saying? But bruh, some innocent life got took. See, the streets, bruh. You can't look up to these dudes, man. They're very emotional, bro. They make emotional decisions. Nothing they do in the streets makes sense at all. Like, motherfuckers is killing their partners. Look how Durk handled this situation. You see it in real time, bro. Just how get handled in the street. Just how I get handled. No rhyme or reason. Doesn't make sense. There's no method to the madness. It is what it is.